Cutting your sales cycle in half sounds pretty impossible, right? But that's exactly what Sandler Trading did with HubSpot. They used Breeze, HubSpot's AI tools, to tailor every customer interaction without losing their personal touch. And the results were pretty incredible. Click-through rates jumped 25%, qualified leads quadrupled, and people spent 3 times longer on their landing pages. You can go to HubSpot.com to see how Breeze can help your business grow.
All right, good morning, everybody. Today is Thursday, May 29th. I'm John Weigell here with Juliet, Bennett, and this is the Hustle Daily Show. Space is known as the final frontier for advertisers. You won't be able to find any ads in space right now, but the American Astronomical Society is having trouble keeping it that way. So how are advertisers angling to get their ads in space, and who are they even hoping will see them? We'll get to that in a bit, but first, let's give you the news in business and tech. First up here, Apple could be getting serious about gaming. Apple has acquired RAC7, the two-person Canadian studio that created Sneaky Sasquatch, a popular Apple arcade game about a Sasquatch that must blend in with humans, kind of like Octodad, if you ever heard of that one. Apple is also poised to reveal a new game-focused app at WWDC that will allow access to the App Store's game section and editorial content about new titles. Next, with all this talk about Southwest now charging for checked bags, United Airlines also has a new rule. Starting on June 3rd, customers traveling with only carry-on bags must check in at least 45 minutes before their flight takes off. So no more last-minute check-ins for all you last-minute people out there. Next up, something that we did not have on our retail bingo card, Abercrombie & Fitch's sales have beat out sales estimations in Q1 of this year, and the company's stock climbed 25% as a result. This is all attributed to new appeal among teen shoppers for Abercrombie & Fitch apparel. Next, into the world of cosmetics, e.l.f. Cosmetics announced it will raise its prices by $1 on August 1st, posting, quote, "Not gonna lie, inflation and tariffs are hitting us hard," on Instagram. Though noting that retailers have the final say in price, e.l.f. wrote that 75% of its products would still be under $10. And Juliet, I know there is also a tandem story to go with this that's even more fun.
Yes, I just learned that e.l.f. Cosmetics delivered a care package, including sunscreen, which, a lot of dermatologists would say is the most important step in your skincare routine, to a man named Oliver Weigell, who apparently decided to give up everything in life and sail the world with his cat.
Amazing.
And I guess he's gone viral for this. So that's pretty cool, I think. There may be some people who are like, oh, you can spend money on this, but you can't. But, I think it's cute.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll pay an extra $1 for a cosmetic if it means that this man has sunscreen. That's not that big of a deal to me.
Yeah, and I think it is important to always emphasize the importance of sunscreen whenever possible.
Yes, especially out at sea.
Mm-hmm.
And finally here, Annheiser-Busch and UFC boss Dana White launched Phorm Energy, a non-alcoholic energy drink with zero sugar, natural caffeination, and you'll either think this is very cool or violently not cool, a flavor called Screamin' Freedom. So enjoy that.
Okay, look, side hustles fail when they consume all of your time. I mean, every single bit of it. The pros, though, work smarter with AI doing all the heavy lifting. To help you out, we just dropped the Side Hustle Accelerator database. You can search your exact problem for your side hustle, grab the perfect prompt, and get results. If you're struggling with marketing, content, and customer service, it's all solved in just seconds. This isn't just another tool, guys. It's your unfair advantage in a spreadsheet. So stop asking AI the wrong questions and start scaling with what actually works. You can get it for free in the link in our show notes. And you can stop right now, actually. Why don't you take a look down at those show notes and tap the link. You don't want to sleep on this.
Main story today. So we're talking about ads in space. So Juliet, can we talk about if there are ads already in space? And if not, why not yet?
So not really, no. Not in space, as we think of space. You may have seen something like a skywriting blimp or, I don't know.
Goodyear.
Drones.
Yeah.
Drones spelling it. And that's very high in the sky, but it is not in space. The issue with this I guess there are two types of space ads that one can have. One is called non-obtrusive. And this would be logos or advertisements that are on other objects in space. So, for example, a space suit. If you can imagine an astronaut decked out like a NASCAR driver in ads, that would be non-obtrusive space advertising.
Okay.
Or perhaps on the side of a rocket. In fact, that has happened. In 2000, Pizza Hut paid about $1 million to put its logo on a Russian Proton rocket headed toward the ISS.
Wow.
Would Pizza Hut do that today? Probably not, considering our relationship with Russia. But
yeah,
that would be an example of a non-obtrusive space ad. It's an object that's already in space, not for the purpose of advertising, and we're putting an ad on it.
Right.
The other kind is obtrusive, which kind of exactly like it sounds, a space ad that you could see from Earth without a telescope or other device. So let's say you are having like this really great trip to Joshua Tree and you're looking at the stars, and then you see a giant billboard for Amazon as you're having this experience. That would be obtrusive.
Okay.
Now, this is banned currently in the United States.
Good.
And that pertains to launches from U.S. soil. But other nations launching their own space missions, they could actually allow such payloads if they wanted to.
And so this group, the American Astronomical Society, what is their role in all of this? It sounds like they do not want this to happen. And how are they going about preventing it?
Mostly just like talking about it a lot. They want there to be legislation that would prevent there being advertising in space. And, I think the reason why you don't want ads in space is pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah. It's pretty intrusive. I mean, seeing it from the ground, it kind of feels like an episode of Futurama a little bit, where you look up and you see an ad, or you close your eyes and you see an ad. I mean, they're invasive in a lot of parts of our lives, but the sky is not one of them yet. And I also hope it stays that way. That would be nice.
Yeah. And when you think about the light pollution we already have from things like skyscrapers and apartment buildings and retail, I mean, there's a lot of light pollution that makes it hard to see the night sky as it is. I think if you can imagine putting a billboard in the night sky, that would obviously be worse.
Yeah.
So they're mostly just raising awareness and saying like, hey, we should globally come together and have ads against this. The way that this is already manifesting, there is a Russian company called Avant Space. They would be using groups of satellites that would use lasers to project ads.
Wow.
There's another company, also Russian, Start Rocket. They had a plan to promote a PepsiCo subsidiary using small satellites with reflective sails, but that did not happen. So I guess we're kind of looking at these private companies would essentially launch something like a group of satellites and use something that would reflect back to us, whether that's lasers or these sails that light would hit and reflect back. That would be the technology, which, would obviously be cluttering up space and be annoying to us, probably.
It seems like a lot of this advertising in space idea is tied to Russia. It seems like.
Yes. Well, Russia was the other entity in the Cold War. So they have a long history of doing space stuff.
The space race and all. Mm-hmm.
And you may say, why would anyone want to advertise in space? It could actually be lucrative for these companies.
Mm-hmm.
There was a study in 2022 that estimated that while a constellation of about 50 satellites would cost $65 million to put in space, it could generate $111 million in profit across 3 months in 24 different ads. So is it annoying? Yes. Has that ever stopped anyone from ads before? No, our life is annoying ads. Pop-ups everywhere we go. I'm just really trying to see some great character and weapons bills for Claire Obscura Expedition 33, and I got to sit through 19 pop-up ads for Mountain Dew or whatever. Like, we already live in this nightmare.
Yeah. And
this is just truly the final frontier, as they say in Star Trek, but for ads.
Yeah, no, it really is the final frontier for ads. We even have like the digital billboard thing happening all across the US and around the world now is huge with fitting the amount of ads that they can cycle through there. They can make a lot of money from that. And I can only imagine the rotation that they would make from their ads in space to show different companies up there and get people looking at them. I think there's a whole conversation here to be had with how to gain space real estate and how to actually have the space in order to put the ads up and who to pay for that and how to get it acquired. But that might be a conversation for a whole nother day.
Yeah, hopefully not anytime soon. It just reminds me of something like Idiocracy or Don't Look Up, where it's like, But why?
Oh, yeah, 100%. All right, that's going to do it for us today. Thanks for tuning into the Hustle Daily Show. We're a proud part of HubSpot Media. Our editor is Robert Hartwig, and our executive producer is Darren Clark. We've got a lot more tech and business coverage in our newsletter. If you're not subscribed, go sign up at thehustle.co/email and follow us on Instagram at thehustledaily. We'll see you later.
Hey, everybody. I've been listening to this great podcast lately. You got to check it out. It's called Content is Profit. It's hosted by Luis and Fonzie Camejo, and it's brought to you by the HubSpot Podcast Network, the audio destination for business professionals. So in this podcast, you can discover the secrets and strategies on how your business can achieve the frictionless sale. We talk about frameworks, strategies, tactics, and bring special guests to bring you all the information you need in order to turn your content into profit. Recently, they did a whole episode on micro creators and UGC and how those things are transforming the social media industry, especially for profit. They had a guest on, William Gassner, who is the co-founder of Stack Influence. So definitely check that episode out if you want to learn more about the social media landscape as it is currently. You can listen to Content as Profit wherever you get your podcasts.